This is Focal Point News, your front row seat to campus headlines and the conversations driving Spartan Nation. Coming up on Focal Point.
We're here to fight for health care and housing and democracy.
I've flown before in government shutdowns in the past, but I know that with international travel, it's a lot different.
Find out how an MSU student lives a double life.
Covering campus and your local neighborhoods. Focal Point starts right now.
Welcome to Focal Point News. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm DeMonte Thomas.
And I'm Shin Nakamura. It's Friday, April 3rd, and we are kicking off today's show, bringing some national news right here to mid-Michigan.
We're looking at bumper-to-bumper traffic across the United States this weekend. Not only is it Easter weekend, but the middle of spring break season for K-12 schools, prompting heightened travel.
Helping you know what to expect, we've got Audrey Pelzik live from Sunoco gas station, taking a peek at gas prices during this busy week of driving. Audrey?
Thanks, Shin and DeMonte. I'm here at the Sunoco station off of US 127. As you can see right here, the prices of gas are $3.87 for regular unleaded. So drivers in East Lansing and Lansing areas are getting a little bit of relief after the higher prices. But will it last? Gas prices in the Lansing and East Lansing area are starting to dip slightly after weeks of increases. According to AAA, the average price for regular unleaded in the area is now around $3.89 per gallon, down more than 20 cents from last week. But despite that recent drop, the prices are still significantly higher than they were just a month ago. Experts say the earlier spike was driven by seasonal changes as refineries switch from winter to summer gasoline blends, along with fluctuating crude oil prices. And with spring break travel and holidays like Easter increasing demand, prices could continue to shift in the coming weeks.
The Lansing, East Lansing area, the metro average is about $3.89 a gallon for regular unleaded. That's down about 27 cents compared to this time last week. However, that price is still 90 cents more than this time last month. So, again,
while it's nice to see prices dropping for now, experts say that it probably won't last for long. Back to you, Shin and DeMonte.
Thanks, Audrey. Travel safe and enjoy the holiday weekend, Spartans.
This past Saturday, hundreds of people gathered on the steps of Michigan's Capitol to protest what they're calling injustice.
That's right, Shin. Organizers of the No King protest movement are already looking ahead to the next demonstrations across the country after thousands took to the streets, including right here in Michigan. Focal Point's Micaiah Lawrence was at last week's rally at State Capitol, where protesters gathered to make their voices heard.
On the steps of the state capitol,
We are here to fight for democracy.
Well, I am here to support the Constitution and to stand up against the threats to the Constitution.
resistance isn't free. Cheryl Vandekerkhove is one of the organizers of today's rally.
We know we are not the only ones who are concerned about what's happening in our country and our world.
From speakers to the rally goers, they stood together to protest.
These marchers are to turn to each other, to look around, to see we're not alone in our resistance.
We're here to fight against all of the things being done to our immigrant neighbors, to our disabled neighbors, to our trans neighbors, to our country.
Along with protesting the Trump administration's actions, it was a place of acceptance and a call to action.
We've got to hold the president and his cabinet accountable for the crimes they've committed against the Constitution.
Number one, you're not alone. Number two, everyone's welcome under this tent. Number three, do something.
And even when supporters of the administration showed up, the rally remained peaceful.
Democracy has to survive. We have to give peace a chance. We have to be the ones who make this difference now.
Everyone involved had the same hopes.
I hope they hear how important it is to vote and to protect our democracy.
In Lansing,
the resistance is not in the margins. The resistance is everywhere.
Micaiah Lawrence, Focal Point News.
Michigan No Kings organizers have already scheduled their next protest for just a few weeks from now on May 1st.
Meanwhile, a diverse group of faith leaders from across Michigan gathered on the steps of a Capitol a few days earlier than the No Kings protest to stand against ICE efforts nationwide. Christian, Jewish, pagan, and Muslim leaders issued statements demanding safety and protection for immigrants. They also call for lawmakers to support Senate Bills 508 through 510. These bills would close detention centers in the state, require ICE agents to be unmasked, restrict local law enforcement agencies from assisting ICE, and designate schools, churches, and hospitals as sanctuary spaces.
You don't have to be a person of faith to respond to this issue, right? As people with any convictions, we need to be grounded in remembering that we are all human and that when any of us are threatened, all of us are threatened. So we have to stand with one another.
Two of the three proposed bills have moved on to the Committee of the Whole so the entire legislative body can discuss updating the bill.
It's been over 40 days since U.S. transportation security agents have been paid, causing long lines and delays at major airports across the country. Here in Lansing and other smaller airports, the lines haven't been too bad, but congressional ability to decide on the Department of Homeland Security funding back in February caused a slowdown nationwide. This created a stalemate, with Democrats refusing to vote to fund the DHS until concessions are made by Republicans on immigration and customs enforcement officer tactics, such as requiring body cams. As TSA agents are waiting on overdue pay and security lines in major airports are growing, President Donald Trump is supplementing staff with ICE agents. Nikki Siciliano is a PR senior at MSU in the midst of planning a graduation trip to Spain. She said she's nervous about her travel plan and the complications ICE adds.
They're not really trained for that. I mean, I don't think they're really trained in general, but I don't think they're trained for the role that TSA handles, and I think that it'll be counterintuitive. I think it's just going to end up making things longer and more difficult because they don't know what they're doing.
President Trump has ordered the DHS to find funds to pay the TSA, but no concrete action has been taken at this time. TSA officials recommend arriving 3 to 4 hours ahead of time to account for delays.
Coming up on Focal Point, a scandal involving a late civil rights leader and how Mid-Michigan is responding. What's next in the controversy over Cesar Chavez and a Lansing city street?
And how can you get involved in a global fight against cancer right here on Michigan State's campus?
It all starts with communication. Setting boundaries early on can make any shared space feel like home. Living together means sharing responsibility. When one person leaves the trash for someone else, tension builds fast. In a situation like this, a quick conversation can make all the difference. It's the same with small things, like cleaning up after yourself. When everyone does their part, it shows respect for the space and for each other. Because at the end of the day, a good living environment doesn't just happen. You build it together.
Welcome back to Focal Point. Leaders around the nation are taking action following an investigative report finding sexual assault allegations against peace activist Cesar Chavez.
Focal Point's Andrew Burns reports how leaders in Mid-Michigan are looking to change the name of this busy street. And what's next?
Born and raised in Burbank, California.
Growing up in Southern California, the United Farm Workers movement was all around Christian Mandarino. The leader of the movement, Cesar Chavez, was taught in schools from an early age.
Going into elementary school, that time frame, That's where we first touched on Cesar Chavez.
In early March, the narrative around Cesar changed. Several women, including Dolores Huerta, accused Chavez of sexually assaulting them during the movement. And quickly following the allegations, change is already on its way.
Already I could tell you that it's pretty surprised how fast. I think it was Cesar Chavez Library in Los Angeles that's being renamed. Wasn't even really a vote.
And in Lansing, Cesar Chavez Avenue is being looked at by the city to have its name changed. The impact of these allegations goes beyond statues and roads. Here at MSU, the previously named MSU Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta Commemorative Celebration, celebrating the farmers' workers movement, has been renamed to the MSU Farm Workers Appreciation Commemorative Celebration. In the university's official statement, it said, "We recognize the courage of individuals who have come forward, including statements shared publicly by labor leader Dolores Huerta, and affirm our commitment to fostering a safe, respectful, and inclusive environment for all."
I think it's really important that people take that seriously and that these issues are thought of with the gravity that they have made and the people's lives that are involved in all of it.
Dr. Daniela Brown is an 1855 professor of community and urban journalism at MSU, as well as the faculty advisor for the March for Our Lives chapter at MSU.
I think what's really important is that we find ourselves maybe in a little bit of a catch-22 here. We see someone who's got these horrendous allegations and they've stained really his image, and we're immediately called to action, or if people are immediately called to action to try to make a change.
End result, I would like to see, at least, for the victims, justice served, to where his name is no longer there.
I think our behaviors definitely are a big part of how our legacies play out, and I think that this changes the trajectory of what the mainstream narrative was about Cesar Chavez.
Beyond the lasting impact on Chavez's legacy, both Mandarino and Dr. Brown emphasize that protecting the victims is vital moving forward. Reporting for Focal Point News, I'm Andrew Burns.
Possibilities for the proposed street renaming in Lansing include going back to Grand River Avenue or Farm Worker Avenue, among several others. This conversation has been postponed for 90 days by the Lansing City Council.
April is finally here, and we are in a home stretch of the semester.
Micaiah Lawrence is at the weather wall with what looks like some April showers on the horizon. Micaiah?
Thanks, guys. Let's take a look out on the tower cam. The sun's coming out a little bit, but it's still a little damp and kind of dreary. We'll see if that's going to change and decide to clear up as the day goes on. But first, starting with our national map, over on the west coast, Sacramento is looking towards a nice sunny 77-degree day. Those of you in Los Angeles are going to see a little bit of clouds, but still 82 degrees. Phoenix isn't showing off too much this week at 89, but personally, I'd take these west coast temps in a heartbeat. It does cool off as we move further from the west coast over to the east. Portland's sitting at 47 degrees, right at that lower end of the average expected temperatures in early April. Now, moving a little closer to home, most of the Midwest is looking like it's going to trend upward. Well, except for maybe Marquette, who's hanging out at 34 degrees and under an ice storm watch until tomorrow morning. Grand Rapids and Chicago are in the low 60s. Cleveland, Syracuse, Indianapolis, and Columbus are in the mid-70s. And right about now, I wish I was back home in Pittsburgh, because what do you mean? The high is almost 80 degrees today. They seem to be trying to compete with St. Louis, who's at 84. Now, let's just take a look at the East Lansing 7-day forecast to see what we're getting ourselves into for Easter weekend. Today, we've got overcast skies with a high of 58 and a low of 39. There are some chances for showers tonight, but that main cause for the rain this week looks to be tomorrow. Saturday's high is 64 with a low of 36, and that rain has a 90% chance of hitting us. Easter Sunday is cloudy, but should be pretty dry for the day. It's still a little chilly with the high only sitting at 42 degrees. Monday through Wednesday should yield some sun with high in the low 40s through Tuesday, and then about 58 on Wednesday. Thursday's high is 61, and there's a 30% chance of showers. Moral of the story, don't put away those jackets and umbrellas yet, because as the saying goes, April showers bring May flowers. Shin and DeMonte, back to you.
Thanks, Micaiah. You might need an umbrella for your Easter egg hunt, but spring has sprung in mid-Michigan.
A nonprofit organization focused on supporting students impacted by cancer is taking action on MSU's campus. The organization, CASEM, hosted a stem cell drive on campus to find a donor match for those with cancer. Students signed up for a simple process, but one that can change lives. Filling out a quick form and a cheek swab is all it takes to get on the registry to check for potential matches for stem cell transplants. CASEM is doing this not only to find donor matches, but to bring awareness to their mission.
Our mission is to serve kids whose parents have had cancer or currently have cancer, and just give them like an outlet to meet other kids who have had similar experiences because of this. And
Organizer says students can get involved and stay informed on future events through social media.
Being a student comes with plenty of different responsibilities, but how about running a business at the same time? Focal Point's Amy Cho talked to one student who is doing just that.
Yuktha Pulavarthi started baking for fun in middle school.
Food was just a big part of my life.
It was a way to spend time with her mom in the kitchen.
And then baking kind of was cooking was my mom's, so I took on baking for myself.
Yuktha specializes in creating macarons, a nod to her favorite baker, Nick Macready's.
I really just enjoyed the process and it's so particular, figuring out what will work, what doesn't. It's just really interesting to me.
For Yuktha, baking started out as just a hobby, but it quickly became so much more.
In high school, Yuktha started Macaronza, her own business selling the pastry, which she continues to run today with the help of a licensed communal kitchen in the MSU Union.
But it really was just a side hobby, and coming to MSU, they have so many incredible resources for entrepreneurs to really start a business and fail and learn from that.
However, Yuktha is also a full-time student and is involved in many extracurricular activities. She says balancing both parts of her life can get hard at times.
You really just figure out throughout the day, like I'll go to class, I'll come to the kitchen, make frosting, and go to another class. I've gone to class covered in like macaron batter and all of that.
Besides the hardships, Yuktha says running Macaronza has been rewarding.
I think the opportunities that it's opened up for me has absolutely outweighed all the struggles I've gone through of keeping up with it.
And her motivation to continue on difficult days draws upon her passion for food.
I love just the feeling of sharing food with others.
As a senior, Yuktha hopes to continue driving her business forward after graduation.
My goals are to continue running Macaronza, and my focus is not on scaling the business, but on just making it better.
In East Lansing, Amy Cho, Focal Point News.
There has been over 20,000 Macaronza products sold to date, and they can be purchased at the MSU Dairy Store, 1855 Place, and also custom ordered on its Instagram page.
Next up on Focal Point, we'll show you senior citizens back in the classroom and church, along with why they're packing the pews right here in East Lansing.
And why world-class horse trainers gallop their way into mid-Michigan. That plus all the sports right after this break.
Yeah, dude, I had a crazy outing last week, and I shot like 5 birdies, dude. Yeah, I was like killing it. It was insane. I mean, I can't believe it. Like, I was on fire. Dude, yeah, you should come out with me next weekend, man. It'll be birdies galore. Yeah, no, I mean, I've been killing it recently. I bet you could probably come out here and learn some things from me. Yeah, dude, you should have seen the shot. It was from like 100 yards away. It was sick. I love shooting birdies, man. Man, it gets me fired up. This guy's crazy. What's he talking about? All right, I gotta say something. I need to interject here.
Dude, what are you talking about with this bird stuff? Birds are beautiful creatures. You can't just like go around killing them whenever you want. You say you're shooting eagles? Like, what's wrong with you, man?
Dude, I'm talking about golf.
MSU has 2 golf courses, so don't pass up the opportunity to go bond with your colleagues and classmates over a game. Don't be an oaf. Learn how to golf.
we're taking you straight into a story at the heart of MSU's campus.
MSU's Town and Gown series is a collaborative program working with university departments and local senior programs to translate university expertise into meaningful public dialogue. At a recent Town and Gown event, Dr. Claire Lewis from MSU presented What the World Needs Now, Caregivers. Her work with the Impact Alliance is helping Michigan tackle a growing shortage of caregivers by working with state leaders and partners. Her team is building new systems to support workers and families and communities.
Really, we're trying to recognize all of the people that are connected to caregiving, support all of them, and create a caregiving ecosystem, if you will, where our society is infused with this caregiving ethos.
Thanks to Town and Gown, MSU faculty and community members are brought together to strengthen academic and community connections. The next Town and Gown event is on Friday, April 17th.
Now that it's officially April, March Madness will be coming to a close this weekend.
Yes, Shen, it may officially end this weekend, but it ended earlier for a few Spartan teams who were knocked out. We've got Kelly Gaffigan at the Sports Desk to give you a recap. Kelly.
Thanks, guys. It was certainly an eventful week for our Spartan squads. It's out with the winter sports and in with the spring. Baseball and softball are a good few weeks into their season. In addition, it's the Lansing Lugnites opening weekend. Focal Point's Owen McCarthy is live from Jackson Field to give us a preview of what's to come this weekend. Owen?
Thanks, Kelly. I'm here at Jackson Field, home of the Lansing Lugnuts. They're celebrating their 30th year in the capital city, and in honor of the milestone, they spent the offseason improving the fan experience. I'm joined here by Jesse Goldberg-Strassler. He's a broadcaster and in media relations for the Lugnuts. And Jesse, what have you guys done this offseason?
Oh, and we've put in some new digital boards. We've got brand new food options, and a local artist in Lansing, Ryan Holmes, painted some murals up around the ballpark. I think people are really going to appreciate what they see.
Nice. So I'm a big fan of food at the ballpark. Every time I go to a game, I've got to get a popcorn, a hot dog. You know, what kind of stuff have you guys worked on?
Okay, so we got a 2-foot-long hot dog. We got a great big corn dog, big turkey leg. There's new grilled chicken, bubble waffles. I love the Mediterranean stand that we have here. And if you like smash burgers, we've got smash burgers.
Nice. Now, I'm a big fan of, looking at every roster before every game. What do you see in this Lugnuts roster this year?
So, according to MLB Pipeline, we've got 5 A's top 30 prospects, but we've got a guy not on that list. 6'4" tall, switch-hitting Dylan Feen. Great prospect at catcher. And I love our Taylors. Ace pitcher Zane Taylor and then slugger Devin Taylor rewrote the Indiana University record book.
Nice. And, everyone's a big fan of a promotion when you go to a game.
Yeah.
What's your favorite one that's coming up this year?
Well, we've got all our different 30th anniversary things celebrating our past. We also have kneecaps night with Honolulu blue and silver football jersey giveaways. There's a cowboy hat giveaway. There's a nutcracker giveaway. And we've got different jerseys that we're going to do. So for Star Wars fans, for Harry Potter fans, we've got a little something for everybody.
And, it is April. It is still a little cold out. I'm obviously dressed a little bit more warm than you. What gets you out here for these April games so early in the season?
It's the baseball. It's the fact that people care. So for 3 decades, people have been filling this ballpark and going nuts with us, and that brings my juices up. That gets me going that baseball is back. These are the best days of the year from now all the way through September.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to go find a seat for the game later tonight. And, yeah, that's all we've got. Back to you, Kelly.
Thanks so much, Owen. Spring team starting up, though, means that winter sports have come to a postseason end. First, men's basketball. After advancing to the Sweet 16, MSU found its next test against 2-seed UConn. In the first half, Izzo's team created a 19-point hole they would need to dig themselves out of. And they did, as the game continued, cutting the lead to 1 on multiple occasions, and even getting in front 1 at the 45-44 mark. But ultimately, Dan Hurley's Huskies kept firing away and took advantage of their free 3 throws until the final whistle blew, signaling a 67-63 final score, and stalling the Spartans in the round of 16. After the loss, senior forward Jackson Kohler had some thoughts of what he'll miss after his last game in green and white.
The little things.
things. You know, the practices, the locker room talk, and, you know, just the, you know, going out to eat, going out to hang out with one another. Those are things I'm just grateful for right now.
Hasn't been any draft or transfer news from this year's squad, just some underground rumblings. We'll find out more in the next few weeks. On Saturday, the men's ice hockey team battled against Wisconsin in the Frozen Four, hoping to advance to the national championship game. Wisconsin notched the first goal, but then MSU scored 2 goals in less than a minute to take the 2-1 lead. All seemed well for the Spartans after a goal by Shane Vinsagi upped their lead 3-1. But the Badgers clawed back, tying things up with just 5 minutes remaining in the third and sending the game to overtime, where they scored the game winner just 24 seconds into the start of extras. After the game, head coach Adam Nightingale made an effort to create goaltender Trey Augustine for his 3 years of excellence between the pipes.
There's no guarantees, and you can do everything right, and you can. I mean, Trey's been unbelievable for us, right? And I go back to, you know, when Trey signed up to play for us, we were coming off of losing 16 games in a row, and you're a goalie, and you're willing to sign up for that. With his pedigree, he could win anywhere he wanted in the country, and what he's done for our program is unbelievable. He's one of us. He's a Spartan. He's a low maintenance guy. He's a humble guy. He doesn't like attention. I love that about him. He's going to have an unbelievable pro career and represent Michigan State in an unbelievable way at the next level.
In the day since, the Spartans have seen some key departures. First, Trey Augustine signed with the Detroit Red Wings on Tuesday. Freshman forward Porter Matone traded his green and white for orange and black, joining the Philadelphia Flyers and making his NHL debut on Tuesday. And just on Wednesday, Maxim Trebek signed an entry-level contract with the Buffalo Sabres. The Spartans will be back on ice next season with some new talent to replace these 3 anchors. And that's what's happening in sports this week. Back to you, Shannon DeMonte.
Thanks, Kelly.
Over at the MSU Pavilion, a horseback riding clinic brought together trainers, professionals, and riders for a weekend of learning. The Legacy Equine Summit welcomed people from across the region to learn from some of the most experienced clinicians and industry professionals, all while on horseback. The goal of the Equine Summit is to bring all riders together, no matter what level they're at. There were live demos along with conversations and feedback from renowned trainers.
In this and learn, and ultimately, for being a horse trainer, the fact that people are here gaining knowledge, that's what it's about.
Organizers hope that they can continue this event annually, helping anyone who is interested to get on horseback.
Thanks for sticking with us this morning. Safe travels this Passover, Easter, and for some, spring break.
We leave you now with the sounds of a No Kings protest choir. See you next time on Focal Point.
We've got the right to organize. We've got the right to protest lies. We've got the right to survive, to make it right. We've got the right to make it right. We've got the right from the start of our country, from the start, fighting tyranny, from the start. To make it right, we've got the right. To make it right, we've got the right. We've organized down through the years. We've organized.